Hello and welcome to a very special episode of Furious Fourcast. We're calling this a Thronecast. Why? Because it's going to be dedicated to nothing but Game of Thrones. Yes, or as I like to call it, As the Dragon Turns. So in this week, we're going to talk about Episode 4, Oathkeeper. And if you haven't seen it already, go ahead and stop now, go watch it, then come back and watch this, or listen to this, because otherwise we're going to spoil everything for you. But we're going to cover everything that happened, all the intrigue, all the drama, all the who gets whacked, who gets smacked, and who gets porked.
Cracked. Oh,
I don't know. Because yes, as the Game of Thrones is, it's a giant sausage fest. Excuse for nudity.
But at least, this week they spiced up the formula, and instead of sex position, we got rapes position. So,
That's
right. A
right.
little bit of spice here and there.
So we'll get to that in a second. So first off, we had, I think this episode was very much another table setter episode. We're moving more pieces around on the board, following, the death of Joffrey, the introduction of Oberyn Martell, the whole rape scene last week between Jaime and Cersei, that the director and the other show producers are calling not rape. They said it was just, consensual rough sex.
Yeah, you can tell it wasn't rape because she was screaming no the entire time.
and him saying, "I don't care."
Yeah.
And her fighting him. That's how you could tell it was consensual. That's, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, speaking of, leading on from that, it was it almost get the impression that what they shot and what actually came out, or what they thought they shot and what actually came out, were two different things. Because then you had the scene in this week's episode between Cersei and Jaime, where she's mad at him, but not like you rape me mad.
No, she was just generally mad.
I mean, she was just the same kind of pissy Cersei she's been for the last ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She
was just angry because her son's dead.
Yeah, she just made a snarky comment. Well, because what did he say when he came in? Your Grace?
Yeah.
Yeah, and she made a snarky comment about that. So, I mean, she wasn't.
But and then on the same token, Jaime is very much back on his redemption path.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's like it didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, I mean he has his out with Bronn, which Bronn is one of my favorite characters on the show. Obviously, he's best with Tyrion, but I mean he was great paired up with Jaime, because he puts Jaime. He's not afraid to put these noble, high and mighty people in their place, and he did just that with Jaime.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The scene where he tells him that Jaime was Tyrion's first choice in trial by combat. It's like, because he knew that you would come running wherever you were. It's like, that killed.
And that actually led up to a great scene where Jaime and Tyrion sat in a cell together. It's Tyrion's cell, by the way. Comparing notes on their experiences and sitting in jail cells.
Yes. And Tyrion, of course, gets all the good quips.
Yes. I mean, it kind of seems as though Tyrion. I feel like Tyrion's kind of getting wasted right now, but he has to go through this because, as people in the books know, something comes up that is important.
Yep.
But he has to go through this little travail. But he feels kind of wasted sitting in a jail cell. But
It'll pay off.
It all pays off in the end.
Okay. I'll take your words for it.
Because this happens. I'm going to explain it right now.
And on the other hand, at King's Landing, we have the Lady Olenna.
Olenna.
Ooh.
A.K.A. the baddest bitch in the room.
She is straight up old gangster woman.
That's Marjorie's grandmother. Do you even
Marjorie's
pay attention?
grandmother, the old woman.
I don't know names.
Ay, ay, ay. Olenna Tyrell, the matriarch.
Gotcha, yes.
She's basically like Batman for this series. Smartest woman in the room.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a good scene, actually,
Yeah,
when she confesses to Marjorie. Because Marjorie's reaction It's like she's totally fine with manipulating people and using her body to get what she wants, and she's fine with being the chess mover, but actually getting her hands dirty like that seemed a little distasteful to her.
Yeah, it's like it's all fun and games, and
until someone gets murdered.
Wow.
Dying.
At the same time, do you feel like they made the reveal too soon?
Yes.
Of who did the deed for Joffrey?
That never happens in the books. It's just when Baelish is the one who tells Sansa that.
Mm-hmm.
They're talking, and he says to her, because in the books it's a hairnet, it's not a necklace. Yeah. And he just asks, because he's trying to test her deduction skills, and he just says to her, he's like, did somebody straighten your hair at some point during the night? And Sansa's like, yeah. And then all of a sudden she gets this realization of, no.
Yeah. It was more implied in the books. It wasn't straight out told. For the TV show. I guess it's because it's a TV show, right? They had to come straight.
They had to draw pictures for Max.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
But I mean, it was funny because there was a guy on Reddit who went through like frame by frame of the whole of the wedding reception and showed, all the moves that were filmed, showing that Alina was the one that did the deed.
And that episode, I told people this at the time to go back and watch the episode, because the episode is artful. At one point, like when Tyrion goes to get the glass to hand to Joffrey, she and the glass are the only thing that are in line of sight. And again, I mean, the balls on this woman. When she's telling Sansa, she's like, murdering someone at their wedding, that's just awful. And then as soon as Joffrey's choking, Olenna's the first person to jump up and start screaming for people to help their king. The balls on this woman.
But then Marjorie has some balls on her.
Yes, let's go seduce the 12-year-old.
Let's go slip in. I mean, that was potentially a very creepy scene that they thankfully did not make creepy.
I was wondering how old he is, because that I did not know.
In the books, he's like 8, and that kid looks 12 or 13.
Yeah.
Well, they knew that there was just too much acting this season for Tillman to have an 8-year-old pull it off.
That would be really creepy.
Yeah,
it's like all the kids have been aged up a little bit because the things that happen to a younger child would feel definitely creepy.
Right. And in the books, she still gets betrothed to him, but she's like 16 and he's 8, so that's still creepy, don't get me wrong, but it's a little less creepy than having a 20-something and an 8-year-old, especially slipping into his room with Sir Pounce!
Yes, the most important
greatest character of the shows.
Yes, the most important character that has yet to be shown was finally introduced, and that is Sir Pounce.
No, and that's his only... Him? It's a him?
Yes.
His only appearance in the season. He won't appear in any other episodes. Did you see that?
He doesn't have to. He's the one pulling all the strings behind the scenes. You know how Varys always has all this information?
It's Sir Pounce.
Sir Pounce.
Sir Pounce is pulling the strings on Varys.
Exactly. That's why he's the spider. Get it? 'Cause cats.
But I mean, but going back to Jaime, I mean, what was actually kind of a touching scene was with him and sending Brienne off, and not just sending Brienne off, but sending her off with some awesome armor.
That armor reveal is
awesome sword.
Ass.
Yeah.
And I have such a girl crush on the girl playing Brienne because she's kind of cute, right? She has a cute little smile, but the way, I mean, she handles it so badass. That's the first Valyrian steel sword that girl's ever touched, and she just has all this. She steals the entire episode. And when she just does that last look over her shoulder, just killed.
And Pod, poor Pod.
Oh God! And he brings Pod. I'm just like, ah.
Who's Pod?
Podrick
For fuck's sake, Max.
The Squire. Come on.
Oh, the Squire. Yes.
I feel like Max needs to be watching this with.
I feel like Max isn't really watching it.
I promise you, it's like this with names in real life as well. I'm horrible with names.
So like basically all the characters on the show need to be walking around with like a label on their shirt
Hello,
saying,
my name
is.
Yeah.
Just for Max.
That's what I need.
Every now and then a banner will pop up. Max.
Yeah.
This is Olenna.
How will that work?
Lower thirds for each.
Lower thirds for all the
Lower
characters.
third.
You asshat. God. No, I think that was great. That steals the show. Brienne single-handedly, pretty much. Because the other things that you have bookending King's Landing are the South, right, with Daenerys.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a very crucial role or part of Daenerys' story, because now she's going to actually stay in Marine. And then you have the North.
Yeah.
Oh.
And that was too. I thought it was kind of nicely juxtapositioned against one another, because you had Daenerys' form of justice, trying to make right with the world, and then you had Jon's form of justice and trying to make right with the world, and they don't necessarily match.
Well,
Daenerys is very.
Daenerys is revenge.
Yeah, Daenerys is straight up. Vengeance kind of justice. Jon is trying to fix things from the inside, even though he's trying to do right, but he's trying to do it the honorable way.
Well, he's also a greater good type of person, right? Like, he's not going out for revenge. He's going out to do what has to be done to potentially save people. Except that, the show decided to shit on that.
Well, Daenerys is trying to do it for the greater good as well, but she's not afraid to get dirty doing it. Right? She's not. She sends the slaves up against their masters, and then the surviving masters are they're crucified, to put it bluntly.
Which I don't think is a greater good thing. I think that was I think that's revenge, and that was her satisfying her own personal sense of justice. I don't think she could argue that she was doing that for everyone. She might think that she is, but that was really for her personally.
But I guess my question was that all the masters that were left in the city, or just because in the book there are still some masters? There's a lot.
Slight spoiler from the books. It shouldn't be.
Yeah, the books, it wasn't all the masters, but it's like from the show, it was almost implied that it was all the masters. So I don't know if there were any additionals.
There has to. I mean, if it follows the books, there has to be.
Yeah.
So her plan is to stay there for a little bit, or she's going to stay there for a little bit. She's not going to keep on moving.
We'll see what the show does. Who knows with the show?
Yeah, and I guess that's one important thing to keep to mention, is because they kind of changed things up in the book a good bit, in a couple of scenes, most notably Beyond the Wall in Craster's Keep, which was the Jen's least favorite scene.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and explain. I'm going to break it down why I hated this scene. Burn Gorman. I usually liked Burn Gorman, but as Carl, not only is he mustache twirling, he mentions rape, he mentions murder, he mentions he beats a woman in front of us. The only thing he doesn't do is kick a puppy into the fire. But the reason that I hate this is that last episode, Jon was going to go and have to do something unpleasant that had to be done. And that's part of being in leadership or taking control of something, right? He's showing shades of his father there, where he's like, of Ned Stark, where he's like, I don't want to do this, but we have to do this. But now he's going to be able to ride in, flag a waving, because now he's not doing an uncomfortable, have to do sort of thing. Now he's going to smite evil.
Mm-hmm.
So they've basically taken off any grayness to this. Like, Jon's going to have to go and kill some people because he has to, not because he wants to. But now he's going to have to go up there and kill these guys.
Yeah. And it's not only that these guys are rapists and they're murderers, but now they also have his brother.
Yeah, now they're going to try and they're going to do what? Torture his brother? They're already torturing Hodor.
Yeah.
So I had a question about this scene.
Yes.
So that is the place, and what's that place called?
Craster's Keep. That's where Craster and all of his daughter wives were.
Yeah, and they were giving away all the babies.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And so he was killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so why are they still there?
Because
where else are they going to go?
I don't
They're
know.
free. They're free now. They can't join the Wildings because they're brothers of the Black. The Wildings would not have them.
Mm-hmm.
What about the Watch?
They can't go back. They killed Jorah Mormont.
They killed their commander. So
You can't kill your commander and then go back to the wall and be like, sup?
Okay, so they're
And
just
the reason that they mutinied was that they hated being in the Watch.
So they're just staying there because they have nowhere to go, not because they want to be there.
Right.
Right. Because of all the places for them to mutiny, that was not a good place to mutiny.
Yeah, they're literally stuck between a rock and a hard place. So they got the wildling army coming down, and then they got the wall on the other side. So they're stuck. And so you almost get the sense from in that scene that they're just kind of like, we're all gonna die. We're just gonna do whatever the hell we want. It's almost a Lord of the Flies type situation.
Right. Well, in the books, they're all just scared and hungry. Like, they're having sex with Craster's daughters, but they're hungry, they're scared. Food's scarce up there, right? They know they're boned. They know they have nowhere to go.
Mm-hmm.
And in this, it's more like I can't even talk about it. It's so stupid.
I will say this: Vern Gorman has a very punchable face.
Right? Like, you just want to like slap. I want to pull out a glove and slap him all proper style.
Yeah, I mean, he's just. I mean, even in Pacific Rim, and he was the nerdy scientist in Pacific Rim. He still had that very punchable face, and so he's going to be he is a good character actor because of that.
He plays weasels very well, like in Dark Knight Rises.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like but I mean, moving on from that, you had they took they had a baby at Craster's Keep, his last male child before he kicked the bucket. They put him down. One of the mutineers did. They put him out in the woods for a White Walker to come get him. And at the end of the episode, you saw him walk off, go somewhere up north, long ride with the baby, looking at the White Walker, riding a horse, calm as can be, sets him down on some sort of altar, and you see this row of dark figures in the background, and one of them slowly approach. Pick the baby up, touch him, and his eyes turn blue.
You mean when Blue Darth Maul touches him?
Yeah, we now have a new White Walker to deal with. So I guess that solves the mystery of what is happening to Craster's babies, and a little bit of where the White Walkers are coming from.
Wasn't that obvious though? Didn't that go without saying? I guess that's another thing that had to be spelled out for the TV show. Like, I kind of always assumed that's what the White Walkers were doing with the babies, just recruiting them.
I mean, you could. Some people thought they were recruiting them. Some people thought they were eating them.
Oh.
It could go either way. But I mean, I thought this was. I think I confirmed it when I read a later article that this is them setting up the end game for the entire show, because you're kind of seeing the boss, the big bad of the entire show being these dark White Walkers in the background that you can't really see. They're not mentioned in the book at all yet.
The White Walkers? No. The White Walkers,
not these boss White Walkers.
You know that they're out there. Like, it's heavily implied, but because they are basically the big bad of they're the boogeyman.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the dragon
book series.
No.
Well, do you see remember how the book series is called A Song of Fire and Ice?
It all comes together, Max.
And if you recall, this is actually very important. If you recall last season, remember the only person who's killed a White Walker was Sam, and he did so with volcanic glass, the dragon blade, dragon glass.
Wait, wasn't one killed with fire with a lantern?
That was a zombie.
That was a zombie. That wasn't a White Walker.
Not a White Walker.
That was a zombie.
Right. He's the only one to have killed a White Walker, and he did it with that dragon glass.
The dragon glass, yeah.
Gotcha.
So that's important to know. Keep that tucked away in your hat.
So this article I read, I can't remember where I read it now, but it turned out that the show's producers actually went and talked with George R. R. Martin, and sorry, South Park reference, and he kind of gave them his overview of everything that happened. He obviously hasn't had all the details worked out for every character yet, but he kind of had the end game of where everything was going, and I think that's what this scene was setting up that end game, because these guys weren't introduced. People have been wondering what's going on with the White Walkers from the beginning, and so again, for the TV audience, you got to give them something to look forward to, other than boobs and rape every week.
Well, I actually wrote an article about this for Loot Crate, shameless plug, about how you kind of need that because the next couple seasons are going to be a slog.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know, originally Martin planned to set books 4, 5, and 6 5 years after the events of 1, 2, and 3. But he decided it would be a little disingenuous to have everyone sitting around suddenly being like, well, it's been 5 years, but I feel like something's going to happen now, right? Like, you just can't just have people twiddling their thumbs for 5 years. So this is time he never intended to write. So book 4 is a whole lot of chess moves.
Star Wars did it.
Are you actually going to use that as a positive too? Did that just happen?
It was 10 years or 20 years.
I don't even know what to say right now. Hi, that's okay. Anyways, I'm so glad we have that recorded for posterity.
Well, going back to that, the bad thing about book 4 is that a lot of the major characters are not touched.
Well, see, they're going to have to... I honestly think they're going to split book 4 and 5 into 1.5 seasons, because the events take place concurrently, so they're probably going to have to
kind of mix them together a little bit more. I agree. I was thinking the same thing, but I mean, if they just straight follow book 4, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people. Are going to be like,
oh my god, because like
I want to see what's happening with my favorite character.
Exactly.
These other jackals.
It's the B team. It's the entire B team, and that's not bad because Cersei does some shit in book 4, but it's all the stuff. I'm not going to spoil anything. All the stuff she does, like she does this thing, which doesn't seem like that big of a deal, but everyone kind of tells her like, what you just did is a really bad thing. So you know that come book 7, that's going to come back to bite her in the ass. Well, it actually already. Okay, anyways, it's going to be like a major problem for everyone. So it's that kind of stuff that they're setting up. So I don't know if the show is just going to kind of leap ahead from that, or what? Because as you said, they have the little sketch skeleton.
I'll say this: they have to drag the show out for as long as possible because they can't catch up to Martin's books, and they've
already said that they're gonna. They've already said that since they know the things, they're just gonna go ahead.
Yep.
So I don't know. I mean, other than that, I don't think we really touched enough on the scene with Sansa and Peter Baelish.
When he gives you the creeper look.
Yeah, I mean, the last week, I thought he was very much the mustache twister, right?
When he was doing his Batman impression.
Yeah.
It's like I was in Dark Knight Rises. Let me show you.
This episode, he did a lot. I thought he did a lot better job of just showing how devious and kind of not maniacal. I want to say Machiavellian.
I think the most important thing in this scene, for people who don't like Sansa, and a lot of people don't like Sansa, because you could successfully argue that basically the reason the Starks are in as much shit as they are is because of Sansa, because she goes and rats out that they're going to leave.
Yep.
She was very naive. She was raised very puritanical, right, where everyone's nice and they tell the truth like we do. So that was probably the biggest character growth for Sansa we've ever seen. Yeah. Because when he says to her, like you can see like she's starting to kind of start to understand the way things are working. Like when she's asking him who killed Joffrey, and he's just kind of giving her these cryptic statements, and she's trying to leap ahead with them.
Like you slowly start seeing the light bulb turn on over her.
Exactly. It's more like a birthday candle. Like
she's very. I mean, just. If it's not obvious already, she's very much becomes kind of, even though Peter Baelish creepily kind of lusts after her, she also very much becomes her apprentice.
Oh yeah,
it's very obvious right now.
And I think he intends that. He obviously he wants to have a daughter of one of the 4 major houses as a political player. She's young, so the capability's there. She could very well become this major political problem, right? He's a good teacher for her.
Yeah, especially.
So there's hope. If you don't like Sansa, there's hope.
So my question is, are we going to see anything worth happening with Bran now that he's stuck in Craster's Keep? Because this is not in the books. It's a
no.
Oh, really?
No.
I'm okay with it though, because Bran's story gets a little dull once they get past the wall. It is so boring because it's even worse in the books because you're reading this, and it's basically just, oh, we're traveling. Oh, the crows come to talk to me. Oh, I had a dream. Oh, we're traveling. oh, I had a dream. Like,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this, I think this will give him a chance to see Jon again, because he doesn't see anyone from his family at all.
Right.
The thing happens in the books where he runs into Sam, but he basically tells Sam, do not fucking tell anyone you saw me.
Right.
And he doesn't. Sam doesn't. So everyone pretty much assumes Bran's probably dead. So I kind of like that they're giving him a little more to do, because he's going to destination to do thing. So
This is another thing I was trying to figure out because I completely forgot because he's been traveling for so long. Where's he going? Where's he trying to go?
He's trying to go where the three-eyed crow told him to go, north of the wall.
Yep.
North of the wall.
the three-eyed crow gave him a location.
And everyone in the crew is cool with that.
Yes,
Okay.
because everyone in the crew understands.
Yeah.
He's a warg, and
because
he.
Phineas completely gets Bran.
It's Ferb, not Phineas.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's Ferb. Yeah, Ferb totally gets Bran.
Yes, Ferb totally gets Bran, and he knows.
Yeah.
And if you haven't guessed, Ferb's sister, Jojen Reed's sister, Mira, she just understands. She has just accepted all of this is truth, and they need to do this.
Mm-hmm. And then
So-
there's Hodor, who's his Hodor.
Hodor's basically his proxy.
I mean, right now, the best thing about the whole Bran scene was that we finally got to see the Direwolves again, because they had been
Fucking fine. Oh, and what the
entirely missing.
What the fuck is up with Ghost in a cage? Ghost is never in a cage. Ghost is with Jon this entire fucking time, which they totally glossed over. So I just figured we got rid of the direwolves, and now he's sitting in a goddamn cage. How the actual F would any of those hicks have been able to cage Ghost?
Yeah, it's true.
If you recall, and first off, Ghost is silent, so when they have him like growling and shit, I'm like, no, Ghost is silent. There's no fucking way. Ghost is one of the stronger direwolves too. There's no fucking way.
Nobody puts Ghost in a corner.
That scene came on, and Jim and I both were like, what the fuck is this bullshit? I raged.
So that was episode 4, Oathkeeper. What are we looking forward to next week? What do we hope to see next week?
Spoiler.
No
I'm
spoilers.
just judging by scenes from the next, where Cersei starts to be the wedge between what's his name and what's her name.
Tommen and Marjorie.
Thank you.
God, TV watcher.
There's so many characters.
Oh my god.
But that because there's that even just from the scene from the next episode, just that scene where she's shooting him a look, and then Cersei steps in between them.
Dun, dun, dun.
Cool.
Dun dun dun.
Jen, what are you looking forward to for next week?
I am looking forward.
Apparently, she's looking forward to freezing up on the technical difficulties. I'll just go ahead and say what I'm looking forward to. Hopefully, an entire episode with no sex or rape.
Where that ship has sailed.
Yeah, because I at this point it's no longer shocking to me. I will be shocked if it's not in an episode.
It wasn't in the first 2 episodes. If you recall, the first episode was all about people wanting to have sex but being denied or distracted.
Well,
So there's no sex in the first
there was
one.
Oberyn Martell's scene.
Yeah, but that was just nudity in the first episode. That's just nudity.
It's the same thing.
Second episode, it's almost devoid of.
Yeah.
And then third episode's like, we haven't had any sex lately. Rape.
But yeah, I'm kind of burned out on all that right now. So what were you saying, Jen, about what you were looking forward to because you froze up?
Yeah, because Comcast sucks. I am looking forward, without revealing anything, to the Red Viper of Dorne getting involved in this whole thing.
Who?
People, God, for God,
I'm sorry.
Oberyn Martell,
I can't be the only person listening who
the dude from
doesn't
Dorne,
know the
the
names.
flamboyant Hispanic-looking guy from Dorne with the fancy yellow frock.
The guy who likes guys and girls.
Yes.
Oh!
See, that's what he remembers.
That's how I remember. Max, fail, sir, fail. I am going. We're going to go to the Bethesda party again
We're
at
going to send
E3.
Max like a guide with everyone's picture and
This
the
is-
name right next to it, so he can
No.
reference it as
What's
he's
gonna
watching
happen?
the show.
We're gonna go to the Bethesda party at E3 again this year, and I'm gonna throw a drink on you. Like, sir.
My wife feels your pain because I have to ask her while we're watching, where are they going?
I bet you know all the
Right.
characters in the Hunger Games.
Hey, she read these books too.
I bet you know all the characters in the Hunger Games.
Me? No, I've never seen a second of any of them or read
Oh.
any.
I bet you know all the characters in Vampire Diaries.
Nope.
We got another podcast to get through.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap this up. So, Jen, where can we find you?
You can find me on thedailycrate.com. And on Twitter at jenbozier.com.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I fail.
Pittsburgh Post Gazette and on Twitter at GameGuyPGH.
And I'm Scott Grill. You can find me on Twitter at Scott Grill, Facebook at ATL Games Examiner, and we are the Furious Fourcast. You can find us on any social channel just by using our name, Furious Fourcast. You can also find us on iTunes, YouTube, and Android and Windows Phone as well, because me. So thank you for watching, and this is our first Thronecast. We'll try to have another Thronecast for next week's episode too. And y'all take it easy till then, and avoid those spoilers. Bye.
Spoiler!